Hey everyone, Dr. Lisa here with an end of the year 2022 message for you guys who opened this up. If you've been opening up my emails, if you're on the steady list, you hopefully have gotten some of these 12 days, these holidays of resources. And so today I wanted to give you an opportunity to really think into what it is it means to lead with grace. So the other day I had, which I have a link below, you can take a look if you're not a member of the Facebook community, the Curvy Hustle Society. Um, I'll just summarize it for you, but otherwise you could take a look. But basically, I was talking about the Good Samaritan and how it came on my heart to express that uh, conversation about how we could really embody that and how that's really is the grace culture I'm talking about. The curvy hustle is a way to hustle. That's not a grind culture. It is an urgency. It is a commitment to leadership that comes from within. It's a very conscious leader that can be a curvy hustler. Not every woman can be a curvy hustler. Every person has the capacity to be a curvy hustler. This is not a gender specific conversation. And this is at an energetic level. And not only at an energetic level, but at the energetics coming in to a person holding womb wisdom. And what I believe is that men can and do, right? Because we all came from one womb. We all came from one dark womb, literally at every level. Africa, dark on the outside and the inside. I mean it all metaphorically as well as figuratively. We all came from one womb. So every single person and every descendant of that person has the connection to one of those X's of the XX womb wisdom. If you have two, I believe there's a job for you to do. I believe that you show up in that role to feel fulfilled and aligned. And I believe that for some of us right now in the collective, who I've been called to find and gather and connect with for different various reasons, are creating a world of love, courage, connection, trust, and contribution. And we're doing that by reclaiming our feminine wisdom, our womb wisdom, and projecting out that power through what I say, curvy hustle or a grace culture. We're learning to be leaders in our own lives instead of being, at the slavery of the collective, of the culture, which is a very patriarchal, hierarchical structure. But to not be so minus that and so anti that and so at the other end of the spectrum where we have no containment, we have no structure, we have no urgency. We don't pierce and complete and see things through when we're too much in our creativity, when we're too much in our visionary, when we're too much of a promoter, when we're too much of a supporter. We fail to analyze when the support is done and we don't have boundaries. We fail to understand when we are so heart led in our leadership that there are times where we need to pull into our controller. And there are women on this earth right now, womb holding women, XX blueprint women is who I'm talking to, who are coming out as the leaders in this movement. The curvy hustle was my way of bridge building between grind culture and leading with grace in a grace culture. That's where we are in the collective. Many of us came out of healthcare first because we went into healthcare because we felt the need to create a world of love, courage, connection, trust, and contribution early in our lives. Okay. And not only that, we went in to those things because of the wounds and the healing we saw a need for. It wasn't to go get the money. It wasn't to go get the title. It was literally to be in health and care. And many of us left and pushed into entrepreneurship earlier than the wave of the pandemic because we saw the illness and the dis-ease in being able to have health and care when a lot of the movement was moving towards the late 90s and early 2000s. We already saw it. If we were coming into that, it was not what we signed up for. And so as leaders, we led the way out. And many of us stayed in healthcare, creating new boutique type of things. What I've seen though, is that over the past 2 to 3 years, there has been another wave, a second wave of medicine women coming out of all sectors of industry and all sectors of society. And I see them coming through the process of needing to find a way to resolve their phase of maiden into mother. And whether that be to birth a business or birth a child or something, they're seeing the incongruency we saw in healthcare in terms of this doesn't make sense. I'm not in the same business as you. This is not working out for me. I can no longer play this game and still do what I was led to do to be here. They saw that, but now more recently coming out of corporate. And so a lot of them got sick, physically ill, the same way a lot of health providers end up in women's health or yoga therapy or an integrative boutique mind body practice or health coaching or any of those things. They're coming out. Some of them became health coaches, some of them became yoga therapists, some of them became, other types of counselors and integrative type of things, and literally pivoted away from their original industry. And with that left a lot of leverage. With that left a lot of power on the table, a lot of money on the table. Some of what I'm hoping is that now we can have medicine women from law, from governance, from areas such as corporate, definitely focused on academics and things like that. They don't have to necessarily, the medicine now is a social healing. That's what we need above all else. The stress, the lifestyle that's killing us, 80% of disease is a social healing need. We are trying desperately to get people before they drop and need to pivot out of a disability, a physical, a mental, an emotional, a spiritual, a relational, a financial, we're trying through this movement. If any of you can see that with me through whatever it is you do in your way of bringing a service, bringing a medicine social, with a social consciousness that this isn't just about you and how you get ahead and how you look, but this is about you, your children, the next generation. This is about your nieces and nephews. This is about people that will never know you unless you leave a legacy. And if that's your desire, I believe there's a space for that at that intersection of getting our leadership, our relationships, and our financial power, whether that be through entrepreneurship, which I think is a getting an entrepreneurial mind, having an enterprising mind instead of an employee mindset, is something I think every single woman needs to have to lead with grace, lead her life with grace, because then she has the power to say, hell no, this is a boundary you're crossing, and does not feel like she needs to be a slave of that system, of that relationship, of that of that season of her life. That to me is as important as body autonomy, for a woman to hold her true identity and power in her vision of authority. And so what I want to give to you guys today is the permission to lead with grace and the permission to, create this world of love, courage, connection, trust, and contribution with me. You don't need to do this alone. We are not silos. We need to do things differently. We see it. The women I'm speaking to right now who hold their own authority already. You're already very good at what you do, or you were very good at what you did. You have held leadership in your hand, or mastery to some level, or experience to some level in a certain space, but you're not taking that experience and showing up to your fullest potential yet, for one reason or another. If you feel like you're at your fullest potential, there's not a conversation here. I'm working with people that are not meeting their optimal potential. They know they're full. It's not that they're not happy. It's that there's another calling. There's another level of calling. You're purpose driven. You are very much a peer facilitator to some extent. You're not looking to take a stage to necessarily dominate and, stand from a place of guruism and perfection. You are looking to actually create that culture of grace where there's no need for hierarchy, because everyone can take the lead. And you are already a leader walking into that space in whatever it is you're leading, whatever it is you're leading of your life. Leadership is about, to me, being in a space where your intention by your influence is that of not taking authority, but of holding space for the transformation, for the ability to transform for anybody else. Either it's holding someone else's space or holding your own space. You're willing to pay the prices to have this world of love, courage, connection, trust, and contribution. And that right now is going to need intimate containers of safe space to do the evolution and the involution, which women have not had in their history. You need to understand your body. You need to become the CEO of it. You need to understand what's going on with everything you're offered and been offered in terms of hormonal fluctuation pills and what it really means to be taking care of your heart and your gut and your immune system and your nervous system, and dealing with trauma, because the experience of womanhood for centuries has been a traumatic experience on this earth. And so there is no one else who is more than us been prepared and are ready to take the lead, whether it be in our homes or out of our homes and our communities, or through the act of beginning a corporation that is more socially conscious, more looking towards producing contribution that is positive to the impact of the collective. These will be started in the next several years through the destruction of what's gone on. And it's up to you to decide how you would like to navigate that. Because no one knows what's happening tomorrow. And you need to be okay with that. And I firmly believe that if you are someone with this resurgence of their feminine power in conjunct and reintegration with their masculine power to form an authentic power that runs the entire spectrum depending on the need, you will enter into a state of peace, calm, grace. And I'll finish with this. My gift to you today is the opportunity to jump into that vision with me for 2023 and on. Because the thing about grace is that you may not deserve the gift, the ease, the support. It has nothing to do with earning it. It has nothing to do with needing to deserve it or perform for it. It has to do with the fact you're trying, you're getting into alignment with your assignment, and that you're owning your sovereignty just by merely owning that job and getting the clarity and trusting the process and really stepping back into faith that there's a purpose. If you're purpose driven, then you understand there's a purpose to your life. And that's not who has been in authority for many years now. Because if they thought there was a purpose in their life, and they wouldn't be thinking their purpose in life is to acquire as much as they can and take from others unjustly. And I'm not saying that from a place of scarcity, meaning that it's a zero-sum game, meaning that anyone who takes a lot means that there's less for other people. I'm saying that from a place of somebody who keeps taking and doesn't have any ability to live in generosity. The reason that they donate is because they think that's how they're going to get to heaven, or how it looks on their taxes or in their communities, and it's an obligation. That's not living in generosity. Giving to the point where you're a pauper because everybody else gets everything but you is not living in generosity either. All of these conditioning things are things we need to rectify in the woman collective. Womanhood there needs to be a school for that. And that's going to ruffle some feathers. And so if you're in the understanding that you'd like to have a community where you're going to learn to lead with grace and be in that space with me and be called to that for your optimal potential, and to go back and learn all your magical, mystical, wicked ways, and to embrace that, then that's what I'm giving you today. So take a look, click on your gift for today, and decide if you'd like to accept that from me. Okay? Because we're doing this.